Hey, I'm Chris from Fugo, and I'm going to give you a video rundown of some of the core features of the Fugo platform. To create an account, go to our website at fugo.ai and click Start My Free Trial. Register with your email and fill in a few company details to get started. Now, I've already got an account set up, so I'll just go ahead and sign in. First, I'm going to pair a screen to Fugo from the Screens page. Fugo will run on any consumer or professional smart TV, tablet or media player device. You can find your selected device's setup instructions from the link right here. Now, I'm going to use a Chromecast that I've already plugged in and set up on my screen here. Once you've installed and launched the Fugo app onto your device, you'll enter the pin into the space provided and give your screen a name and location if you want to be able to locate it on your map view. All the screens I pair to my account will be located here, available in a list view or monitor view, which shows a live screenshot of my screen's current playback. From here, I can create screen groups, which allow me to publish content to several screens simultaneously. Clicking on my screen will take me to its individual dashboard, where I can check on the status, health, and usage stats of my device. At this point, I'm ready to start making some content. If I'm not sure where to start, I'd head to the templates page where I can browse different categories of content for various industries and use cases. Now, already, I'm seeing that Fugo content can contain a nice mix of media, apps, QR codes, zones, and animations. I'm going to open up the Design Studio, which is where you can create bespoke content layouts, such as the ones I've got in front of me here. You can think of the Design Studio like Canva, but for TV screens rather than print or web. The content is made up of 6 slides so far, but I can add or duplicate slides if I want to create a fuller presentation. I can also change the orientation of my canvas to match that of my screen, even creating custom resolutions for non-typical display sizes, like video walls. The left-hand panel is where I can select content to drop onto my canvas. When it comes to media, I can choose from the uploads in my media library, which I can add directly from inside the studio or from the media page in my account, found in the top navigation bar. You can upload files in any format and we'll optimize them for your screens for you. I can also add apps to my display. If I go have a look at the App Store, you'll see that we've created a nice series of handy apps for social media, news, business intelligence, and a lot more. I've got a few apps on my screen already. I've got the weather and clock apps, which I've cropped and made transparent to better fit into my design. I've also got the QR code app where I'm able to drop a link to my webinar advertised here, and the CNN app looping through bit-sized news headlines. As you can see, all of the settings for the objects on my canvas can be found in the left-hand panel, where I can hyper-customize my content to match my branding and vision for my display, down to color, size, and entrance animation. If this content will be displayed on a touch-enabled screen or tablet, I can enable our touch feature to build a simple flow to navigate my user through my slides via touch. Now, if you have more complex needs for enabling touch interaction like cart selection or checkout functionality, you can speak to our support team about getting that set up. Now, a real standout feature of the Design Studio is my ability to create really nice looking displays for dashboards that my company relies on for up-to-date KPIs, goal tracking, or reporting. Now, if you've ever been tasked with putting data on your TV screens, you probably already know how hard it can be to make that data TV screen ready. Your dashboards may be big and complex. They may be lengthy or take too long to load and refresh on screen. This is where we come in. Fugo has 2 primary ways of displaying your data. Via our TV dashboard feature, a unique tool that allows you to authenticate with your dashboard provider to take periodic screenshots of your data to display on the screens, or via our native integrations with tools like Power BI and Looker. Let's look at this slide I've created using the Power BI app. if I open the app settings, you'll see I can select any of the data from my workspace and play with some of the settings until I'm happy with the look of my dashboard on the canvas, such as changing the page view or setting the dashboard to scroll. I can even drag another dashboard on top of this one to create an independent carousel in this zone of my screen. This time, I'm going to choose a dashboard from my TV dashboards library. You'll see the timeline for this carousel appears beneath the canvas, where I can adjust the durations of each item in my carousel. I can go further and crop this dashboard to show the main portions I want to emphasize, like I've done with it here on slide number 2. When I'm happy with how my content looks, I'll click Save and Close so that I can add this content to a playlist to be published on screen. So now I'm going to go make my playlist. I can do that directly from my studio content library by selecting the menu on my content and hitting Publish. Or I can create a playlist from the playlist page found in the top nav bar. Let's go ahead and create a playlist. First, I'll want to give my playlist a name. Next, I'll select the screen group, or channel that I want this playlist to be published to. Then, I'll start selecting the content for this playlist. I can choose from apps, uploaded media, dashboards, and studio content. If I want to find something quickly, I can even search for it. Now, I'm going to go ahead and add the weather app, an image, and a piece of content I just created in the design studio. Now, I can drag these items around to change their order, edit their duration in the playlist, and configure their settings to have the look and feel I want for them on screen. You can use the scheduler to get more precise about when your content gets published, which is handy if you've got campaigns that you want to schedule ahead of time or content that's more day and time specific, like breakfast and lunch menus for your restaurant or reminders for upcoming events. Tick the box for no end date if you want your content to just play indefinitely. You can also set the weekly schedule by clicking and dragging along the schedule. To have a playlist take over your screen, you can choose the priority takeover option from the drop-down menu. This option allows you to manually override scheduled content with a higher priority playlist that can be triggered to loop or played through once before going back to your scheduled content. You can even set the trigger from outside sources with our Zapier integration or by using our REST API. This kind of action is great for things like celebrating new sales in real time or pushing out emergency messaging. You can preview your content before setting it live, save it for later, or publish whenever you're ready. Once live, your playlist will show up as a tile on your playlist page where you can pause, edit, or even remove it. Now that we've learned the basics of adding a screen and publishing content, let's look at some of Fugo's other core features. We saw dashboards in the design studio already when I added it to my canvas. Now, let's go see how it works in more detail. I'm going to create a new dashboard. I can choose from a list of popular dashboard services like Looker or Salesforce, but it's best to start with a dashboard URL if you've got it handy. Now, I'm going to enter the URL of my Salesforce dashboard in the field here and click Go. Before I go any further, I'm going to need to follow the prompt to install a free Chrome browser extension, which will allow Fugo to record my login steps so that it can reproduce them later in order to display my dashboard. I also need to enable the extension to run in incognito mode so that any existing cookies or browser sessions don't interfere with my recordings. Now, once that's done, the Salesforce login page will open in Fugo Step Recorder. Now, I'm going to enter my login credentials. Alright, now I'm logged in and looking at my dashboard. And you can see that my clicks are being reflected in the right hand panel, which is logging a history of the steps I'm taking in the recording process. This is the point where I'm going to direct Fugo how to take the screenshot of my dashboard page. I can hit Capture Dashboard right away if I'm happy with this view. But looking at this window, I've got a pretty busy page here. Besides my detailed dashboard itself, I've got extra panes and panels in the viewpoint that I might not really want to show up on my TV screen. So to optimize my dashboard screenshot, I've got a few options. First, I can use the eraser tool to delete elements, getting rid of all those extra navigation panels and such crowding my viewpoint. Once I've cleaned up my view, I'll click Capture Dashboard to take the screenshot. Alternatively, I can use the element screenshot option to take a screenshot of just one particular element on my dashboard that I want to display, such as a particular chart or portion of my report. Now I'm back in Fugo, where I've been prompted to enter something called my secret key. This is an alphanumeric code I've gotten from my Salesforce account that essentially allows Fugo to act as a 2FA authenticator into my account. If this sounds complex, fear not. We have instructions for how to get this secret key and how to set up 2FA with Fugo dashboards in our help center. So now what's happening while my dashboard preview loads is that Fugo's reproducing the steps I took during my recording to fetch my dashboard screenshot and securely encrypt them in AWS Secrets Manager. When that's done, my dashboard preview will show up here in the CMS. Now, depending on what plan I'm on inside Fugo, I have a few options for changing the refresh interval on my dashboard. That is how often I want Fugo to go and take a new screenshot to send to my screens. I've also got a few options to make my dashboard screen ready here too. Firstly, if I've got a particular data intensive dashboard that takes a lot of time to load, I may want to tell Fugo to pause for a few seconds before taking the screenshot to give my dashboard time to fully load, so I don't get any unsightly loaders in my screenshot. If I've got a very long dashboard that gets cut off at the end of my screen, I can tell Fugo to scroll it to a certain pixel height. So we've covered designing content, publishing playlists, and connecting to data sources. So let's take a quick look at account management. I'm going to go into my account portal and see an overview of people and spaces. This is where I can add users to my Fugo account and organize them into spaces, which are sub-accounts that house the content and screens assigned to each. Spaces are helpful if I'm a reseller with a wide client base, or if I'll be managing many screens in different locations or departments, and I need a way to keep it all neat and relevant to the team members running each part of my network. From here, I can create a new space or invite a new person to join Fugo. I can also assign them a space and a role, which is a set of permissions that grants them access to certain pages and features within my account. Finally, here in my billing tab, I can purchase a subscription at the end of my trial and manage my subscription details and payment methods. And that's it for our demo. Thank you so much for watching. If you'd like to try Fugo yourself, head over to fugo.ai to start a 14-day free trial, or reach out to our team at hello@fugo.ai to see how we can help you with your project.